pilgrimage, and the paths into the valley are thronged with pilgrims, rifles ever present, coming in their hundreds, walking barefoot over this sacred ground. Soon, the entire valley bustles with life. 10 days of ceremonies lie ahead, and around the temple, the women folk busy themselves with the myriad chores of settling in their family groups. The Baba Jawush, as host to the pilgrims, comes out to greet his flock and to welcome them to the shrine. He alone has the authority to lead the faithful into the tomb of Sheikh Adi deep within the temple crypt. It is not long before the dancing begins, part religious ceremony, partly entertainment. The music for all such religious festivals is provided by the Kawals, a special clan among the Yazidis. Professional music makers, they pass on their art within their own group, maintaining their special role from generation to generation. The coins then represent a kind of religious offering as well. Between festivals, the Kawals may tour the Yazidi villages, but they live all together, a kind of medieval guild of musicians in two special litters. So the traditions are preserved and passed on. Within the community of the dance, the individual Yazidi discovers the wellspring of his own faith, the sense of belonging, of being part of the religious mysteries in which this place is steeped. Was there not a time when the Yazidis seemed set to bring the whole of northern Mesopotamia under their sway? But today, the echoes of past glories grow faint. The ordinary people follow blindly the rituals which even their spiritual leaders only dimly comprehend. And now, a special treat. One of the pilgrims, an old sheikh of the Mend clan, produces a deadly viper. Members of the Mend clan handle snakes quite fearlessly. By legend, the original Sheikh Mend had 3 sons from supernatural unions, one born of an apple, one of a rod, and a 3rd son from a snake. Today, the descendants of the snake son have the power to charm any serpent. specialized skills of the mend sheikhs, as with the other groups within the Yazidi cult, are passed on in the family group. Here, the son and the grandson help the sheikh in his act. The more spectacular, the more generous the support that the audience is likely to give. But the heart of the sacred valley and the reason for the whole pilgrimage lies within the temple itself. In his lifetime, each Yazidi is bound to make at least one pilgrimage to the tomb of Sheikh Adi. As for any pilgrim, the high point of the journey consists in actually reaching the goal, in being able to touch, to kiss the very threshold of the temple. And finally, to enter the dark passages which will lead to the tomb, a sight few outsiders have seen. The tomb of Sheikh Adi, draped with richly colored cloth embroidered in gold and silver, rich gifts left by some pilgrims in ancient times in this Holy of Holies. Now the ceremonial will begin in earnest with the arrival of the head of the Yazidi sect, direct successor of Sheikh Adi, known as the Baba Chek. Through the crowd comes the Baba Chek retinue. At the rear, one carries in a sack the statuette of the sacred peacock. For surely it was as the beautiful peacock, king of birds, and not as a serpent, that the devil tempted Eve. The dignitaries withdraw into the temple as preparations are made for the first ceremony. The great courtyard of the temple thronged, the crowd in a gay mood. Suddenly, out into their midst rushes a calf. The crowd quickly take up the chase. It is soon over. Sacrifice has been made with the spilling of blood. Later, the flesh of the sacrificial offering will be distributed among the families of the sheikhs and the fakirs. The sacrifice over, the pilgrims go through a ritual of decorating their headdresses with leaves and twigs broken from a grove of sacred trees. From a different tree, they take pieces of cloth as charms for a healthy life.
Feels like you expect too much. You think all of a sudden everything's...
Through the crowd. People touch or kiss it as it passes. The kawals and even their musical instruments are also venerated as they accompany the sacred relic, as this procession is repeated throughout the valley over the following days. Another continuing ritual is that of fire and incense. Each evening, fire is taken to the pilgrims' dwellings by a fakir, who also lights votary tapers set in hollows and ledges on the rocky hillsides. The incense, to be mixed with fire, is carried by a fakira, one of the 3 virgin priestesses who live permanently in the temple here in the sacred valley. From the first, man has sensed a magic in fire. As the darkness enfolds them, these modern-day devil worshippers reenact with fire and incense the magic rites that were perhaps practiced here by the ancient Medes 1,000 years before Christ. By dawn of the 8th day, the religious element is much less evident. The dancing has spread out throughout the valley, with music provided now not by the kawals, but by ordinary performers. The Yazidis' social life is very restricted. They may marry only within their own sect, and no one from outside may become a convert. Obviously, then, the pilgrimage offers a rare occasion for these people coming from their isolated village communities to meet and mix and perhaps find a marriage partner. As the pilgrimage reaches its final stages, the dancing goes on night and day, until finally the time runs out. After 10 days, the silence again settles over the sacred valley, the valley of Sheikh Adi, while in the distance, small bands of Yazidi pilgrims retrace their steps, heading home.